Here's something that might blow your mind. Most people have never experienced true intimacy, even in their closest relationships. And no, I'm not talking about what you think I'm talking about. By the end of this video, you'll understand what intimacy actually is, why most of us are starving for it, and exactly how to create more of it in your life. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Christine, and today we're diving into one of the most misunderstood concepts in human relationships: intimacy. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking when you hear that word, but stick with me because we are about to completely reframe what intimacy means. And here's why this matters more than you might realize. We're currently living through what researchers call an intimacy crisis. Despite being more connected than ever through technology, rates of loneliness, depression, and relationship dissatisfaction are at an all-time high. And the truth is, most of us were never really taught what intimacy really is. We weren't taught what it looks like, how to create it, or why it's absolutely essential for our mental health and happiness. So today, we're going to fix that. If you're someone who wants deeper, more meaningful connections, whether that's with a romantic partner, friends, family, or even with yourself, make sure to hit that subscribe button because this is the first episode in our intimacy series and we are going to cover everything. Okay, so let's start with the basics. What really is intimacy? The word intimacy comes from the Latin word intimus, which means innermost. So intimacy at its core is about revealing and sharing our innermost selves with another person and having that sharing be received with acceptance and care. Notice I didn't say anything about romance or physical connection. That's because intimacy is fundamentally about emotional and psychological closeness. It's about being truly known and truly knowing someone else. And here's my definition. Intimacy is the experience of being authentically yourself with another person, without fear of judgment, rejection, or abandonment. It's mutual vulnerability that creates deep connection and trust. Yes, this can happen with romantic partners, but also between friends, family members, mentors, and even therapeutic relationships. The key ingredients are always the same: authenticity, vulnerability, and mutual acceptance. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. There are 5 types of intimacy, and most people only experience only 1 or 2 of them, even in their closest relationships. All right, now let's break them down. The first one is emotional intimacy. This is sharing your feelings, your fears, your dreams, and inner experiences. It's saying, I'm scared about this presentation tomorrow instead of, I'm fine. It's the foundation of all other types of intimacy. Number 2, intellectual intimacy. This is connecting through ideas, thoughts, and beliefs. It's having those deep 3 a.m. conversations about life, debating topics you're passionate about, or sharing your weird theories about the universe. You feel intellectually intimate when you can say, here's what I really think, without fear. The third one is physical intimacy. And no, it's not just about sex. Physical intimacy includes all sorts of caring touch. Hugs, holding hands, cuddling, massage. It's about comfort with physical closeness and affection. And sexual intimacy is just one subset of this. The fourth one is spiritual intimacy. This is sharing your deepest beliefs about meaning, purpose, and connection to something greater than yourself. And you don't have to be religious to have spiritual intimacy. It's about sharing what feels sacred or meaningful to you. The fifth one is experiential intimacy. This is created through shared experiences and adventure. Number 5, experiential intimacy. This is created through shared experiences or adventures. It's the intimacy you feel after traveling together, working on a challenging project, or going through a difficult time side by side. Shared experiences create unique bonds and inside jokes that only you two understand. The magic happens when you combine multiple types of intimacy. The strongest relationships have all 5 working together. Okay, now let's break down some common myths about intimacy. Before we talk about how to build intimacy, let's bust some myths that might be holding you back. We have 5. So myth number 1 is intimacy equals romance. We've already covered this, but it bears repeating. You can have profound intimacy with friends, family, and platonic relationships. Some of the most intimate relationships in your life might not be romantic at all. Myth number 2, some people are just naturally more intimate. This is like saying some people are naturally better at piano. Intimacy is a skill set that you can learn and develop. It involves specific communication techniques, emotional awareness, and vulnerability practices that anyone can master, including you. Myth number 3 is intimacy requires complete openness. Actually, healthy intimacy requires boundaries. You can be selectively vulnerable, choosing what to share, when, and with whom. Intimacy is about quality of sharing, not quantity. Myth number 4 is that physical intimacy is the most important type. All types of intimacy are valuable. In fact, many relationship problems happen when couples have physical intimacy but lack emotional or intellectual connection. Myth number 5 is that once intimacy is lost, it can't be regained. Intimacy can absolutely be rebuilt, but it takes intention, patience, and usually takes both people willing to be vulnerable again. It's like rebuilding trust. It's possible, but it requires consistent action over time. So here's something most people don't realize. You can't give what you don't have. Before you can be truly intimate with others, you have to learn to be intimate with yourself. And self-intimacy requires you to be honest about who you are, what you feel, what you need, and what you value. It means having a relationship with your inner world instead of just being on autopilot. There are 3 practical ways to build self-intimacy. Practice number 1 is the daily check-in. You're going to ask yourself 3 questions. How am I feeling right now? What do I need most today? What am I avoiding or afraid to acknowledge? Write down your answers. This builds emotional self-awareness, which is the foundation of intimacy. Practice number 2 are values clarification. Most people live by values they inherited rather than what they chose. Spend time identifying what really matters to you. What kind of person do you want to be? What kind of life do you want to live? When you're clear on your values, you can share them authentically with others. And practice number 3 is going to be to befriend your shadow. We all have parts of ourselves we'd rather hide. Our insecurities, our petty thoughts, even our fears. True intimacy means acknowledging these parts without judgment. When you can accept your whole self, you become capable of deeper connection with others. Okay, now let's talk about creating deeper intimacy with other people. Now, whether you want to deepen an existing relationship or create new intimate connections. Now, let's talk about building intimacy with others. Whether you want to deepen an existing relationship or create new intimate connections, these strategies work. Strategy number 1 is to lead with vulnerability. Intimacy is reciprocal, but someone has to go first. Share something slightly more personal than the conversation calls for. If someone asks, "How was your day?" instead of saying, "It was fine," you could say, "Honestly, it was tough. I've been dealing with some anxiety about a tough decision I have to make." Strategy number 2 is to ask better questions. Instead of "How was work?" try, "What was the most challenging part of your day?" Instead of "How are you?" try, "What's been on your mind lately?" Better questions invite deeper responses. Strategy number 3, practice active listening. When someone shares something vulnerable, resist the urge to immediately relate it back to yourself or offer solutions. Instead, reflect back on what you're hearing. It sounds like you're feeling overwhelmed and maybe a little scared about making the wrong choice. Strategy number 4 is you want to create intimacy rituals. These are regular practices that create opportunities for connection. It might be a weekly walk where you check in with each other, a monthly deep conversation over dinner, or a yearly tradition of sharing your biggest hopes and fears. Strategy number 5 is to respect the pace. Intimacy can't be rushed. Some people need time to feel safe before they open up. So don't take someone's initial guardedness personally. Just keep showing up consistently and authentically. Before we wrap up, I want to share what I call the intimacy equation. This is the simple formula for creating deeper connection. Vulnerability plus acceptance equals intimacy. I'm going to say that again. Vulnerability plus acceptance equals intimacy. Both parts are essential. Vulnerability without acceptance leads to shame and disconnection. Acceptance without vulnerability leads to surface level relationships. But when someone shares authentically and that is met with genuine acceptance, not judgment, not advice, not trying to fix it, that's when intimacy is born. And here's the beautiful thing about this equation. It compounds. The more intimacy you create, the safer people feel being vulnerable with you, which creates even more intimacy. You become someone people feel safe opening up to. Your relationships transform. What intimacy actually is. So there you have it. What intimacy actually is, why it matters, and how to create more of it in your life. Remember, intimacy isn't just about romantic relationships. It's about the quality of connection you have to yourself and others across all areas of your life. If this resonated with you, be sure to like this video and subscribe because we are just getting started. In our next video, we're going to deep dive into the biggest intimacy killer, the fear of vulnerability. And I'm going to give you specific techniques to overcome it. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Which type of intimacy do you think you need more of in your life? And if you try any of these practices, let me know how it goes. You can find the link. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video where we will continue exploring how to create the deep, meaningful connections we all crave. I love you.